Hey everyone, it's Schmuckles. Today we're going to go over a giant Jason Voorhees for Dead by Daylight update. This comes straight from the mouth of Mathieu Cote, and there's a lot of other information that came out from this interview with Sawpalin as well. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content like this. So after Sawpalin's interview with Mathieu Cote, an article came out about Jason Voorhees. Don't expect a Dead by Daylight Friday the 13th chapter anytime soon, as dev discusses licensing nightmare. There's a lot of dream crossovers for Dead by Daylight. One of these dreams is being released soon with the upcoming release of FNAF. Meanwhile, Mathieu Cote has admitted discussions with Disney over Star Wars and Darth Vader as a killer have factually occurred. While FNAF has been clamored by fans for years, another highly requested collaboration amongst the DBD community is Friday the 13th. While there's the possibility it could happen one day in the future, Dead by Daylight fans shouldn't expect a Friday the 13th chapter anytime soon because of licensing headaches. Dead by Daylight dev discusses Friday the 13th licensing issue. Dead by Daylight director and Behavior Interactive head of partnerships Mathieu Cote recently conducted an interview with YouTuber Sawpalin. The interview is entirely in French, so there may be some slight inaccuracies with translations. And this is actually what Mathieu Cote said about Friday the 13th. This is the most recent thing Mathieu Cote has said about that license. During the interview, after asking about the possibility of Star Wars, Mathieu Cote was again questioned about the possibility of a Friday the 13th chapter. Cote admitted that statistically the probability is greater than 0%, but there are a lot of hurdles. Cote said anyone who does 5 minutes of research online sees how the license is and has been under legal storm for years. He's added it's one of the most complex licenses fans request, as every year there's someone who comes out saying no, it's mine, and that conversation is very delicate. Lastly, the game director questioned whether it's worth fighting for because of all the complexities involved. It would be fantastic to see Jason Voorhees in Dead by Daylight, but it seems to not be in the pipeline for the foreseeable future. Licenses are always a delicate matter for DBD. We've recently seen issues arise with the removal of Pinhead due to expiration of the licensing agreement, but in the past there was the removal of Stranger Things before it was able to return. So people are taking Mathieu Cote's answer, saying statistically the probability is greater than 0%, and the fact it's one of the most complex licenses, and he's saying this is up-to-date information, which means that even if the licensing was complex, a couple years ago, even still now the licensing is complex. There was new news on the Crystal Lake show that actually happened yesterday. First, news on the Crystal Lake series filming schedule and discovered shooting location. And this article sort of went on to talk about the fact that this is the first official project of the franchise to begin production since 2008. So it's been a long time since anything's been done with the licensors with this franchise, but it was finally confirmed that the series would begin filming in New Jersey in the summer of 2025. Mathieu Cote also addressed the fact if we can still hope for Jason Voorhees, or if there's any hope left for Jason and DBD. This was in an interview with Slasher Radio. Big shout out and a big thanks to Slasher Radio for this information. I'm gonna link the video in the description below.
There is hope. Absolutely, there is hope. Jason exists. Some people are actually currently managing his estate. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
And we would still very much like to have Jason in the game. Like, that is never gonna go away.
Also, I found Doctor Who's full translation for the interview, so I kind of wanted to go over the rest of the details of that interview. Mathieu Cote reveals some really crazy things. The first thing is FNAF was different to work on from other licensors since Scott was a single person. It was also very tense and difficult due to his vision and FNAF's core gameplay. Mathieu Cote confirms that there have been talks and mentions of Darth Vader and DBD with Disney. We talked about this in my previous video, and we also compared it to previous leaks that we had in January and how it kind of confirmed these things. He also confirms he knows that people want new Stranger Things content, and he says that the door for it is not closed. DBD team would like to have the PTB available for all platforms, but it's very difficult. Mathieu Cote says the easiest platform to have the PTB on would probably be Xbox. PS4 and PS5 is very difficult, almost impossible. He straight up says it's impossible for Nintendo. Mathieu Cote comments on voice chat coming to DBD and says it's not something they're looking into. He also mentions that perhaps it could be implemented in a special game mode or game modifier. He also comments on the endgame chat for consoles and says it's something that is possible, but it's not being looked at the moment. Mathieu says there's no interest in making game modes or modifiers permanent, since they want to keep the flow of change within the game and keep players hyped for what's coming with every update. They also know this would ruin queues. Mathieu mentions Prop Hunt being considered as a game mode and knows the community wants it. He confirms it is not the next game mode coming to DBD, so that must mean that they know what the next game mode is and maybe it's coming soon. Mathieu plays with the idea of future killer having a Prop Hunt power, being able to transform into different objects. That's kind of a weird one. Mathieu is asked about the possibility of DBD 2. He says it's not something they are planning to to do. Instead, they want to slowly upgrade the game in all aspects so it keeps the essence it has, but is up to nowadays standards. He mentions the Realm Beyond upgrade as being a part of this. Mathieu also talks about hints given at PAX about the upcoming chapters. He confirms that Eric Pope's jacket and pins are hints, as well as the letters found in the DBD roadmap. He also says the watch he brought out is one of those hints, but there's more hidden ones. Mathieu confirms the killer coming in September is especially based in South Asia folklore, which means it won't be Japanese like many people thought. And this is something I wanted to clarify. There was some misinformation before too. In my previous video, I said that it's Southeast Asia folklore, but Mathieu Cote said South Asian folklore. So that's a little bit of a different region than what I actually heard. I believe South Asian folklore is the correct translation. Buffy the Vampire Slayer has been in talks for DBD. Mathieu implied not only within the team, but the owners of it. Mathieu confirms the name of his cat is based on Agent Cooper from Twin Peaks. Mathieu describes the 10th anniversary of DBD will be massive. He says legacy skins are possibly never coming back. Also says people who lost them won't possibly receive them back ever. His favorite killer to play as is the Hag, and his favorite to play against is the Clown, mainly due to his laughs. And that's the end of the thread, so big thanks to Doctor Who for DBD for this thread that was translating this entire interview. That's all the facts from the situation. It also came out from this interview that there's a Night of the Living Cat collaboration that's coming to Dead by Daylight. This is something that's officially been sourced by Dweet and something that's been confirmed, I believe, by Mathieu Cote. The Night of a Living Cat is a Japanese manga series. I'm not sure at what capacity this collaboration is coming into Dead by Daylight, but that was breaking news for Dead by Daylight this week. I know Polyester sort of called attention to this. Mr. Eric Pope, sir, will you confirm or deny if the top pin is a cat? And this is one of the anniversary teases that Poly actually discovered. The Night of the Living Cat collaboration was teased at PAX East. And speaking of just Dead by Daylight news, the roadmap for June came out as well. You can see the Before the Masquerade event starts today, June 10th all the way to 16th. June 17th is the live release of Five Nights at Freddy's, and it looks like the cosmetic collection is dropping the same day too. So all of the Before the Masquerade events are running from the 17th to the 24th, and then the 25th to July 16th is the actual anniversary event. Something really interesting as well, the game director on Dying Light, Timon Schmekdala, I might have butchered that name, but this is the Dying Light franchise director. On June 7th, he said, I have about 30 minutes of free time. Impromptu, ask me anything, but I'll answer what I can. Someone asked, can we see Kyle Crane coming to Dead by Daylight? Would love to see a crossover. And the Dying Light game director responded and said, I'd love that too. Wanted to do it already, but the talks didn't go far. I'd actually love to see a Volatile there as a killer. What do you say at Dead by Daylight? And this is big news, you know, whenever a horror IP owner says that they want to be in Dead by Daylight, it's always huge news on Twitter. So this was also breaking news today. And I believe Polyester covered this in a video as well. Dying Light wants Kyle Crane and the Volatile in Dead by Daylight. And notice that Poly tagged both the game director for Dead by Daylight and Dying Light together. And that creature actually looks pretty badass. I think that fit pretty well as a killer in DBD. I'm not sure if Mathieu Cote is using Twitter very much right now, but I did think this was news and noteworthy information. Also, one last thing in regards to this interview with Sawpalin. Ruthless Leaks posted this. In a recent interview with Sawpalin, Mathieu Cote says voice chat will not be happening anytime soon. This contradicts the development of voice chat that can be seen through the in-game data. And Ruthless posted here this file inside of the Dead by Daylight game files that is called voice chat. So maybe voice chat would be something that comes on an upcoming modifier or something like that. I have a really in-depth analysis video coming next on my channel, so make sure to like and subscribe if you want to be up to date and in the know with all of the Dead by Daylight news. That does it for this video. Goodbye.